was blessed to have received this very VS 1880 digital workstation board from Kanye West himself. This is the board that Jesus Walk was made on. This is the board that all of his first Grammy-nominated hits, Alicia Keys and everybody else you can think of, from 2000 to 2004.
What's up? You got your boy DyReck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. Cause today we're gonna be talking about the Roland VS 1880. What had happened was... So the year is 2000 and Quattro. Kanye West destroys the scene with his new release, College Dropout. The industry is going crazy. Fans are waving their hands, dancing at classics like Through the Wire from state to state. Kanye West is now the new kid on the block. And this album has placed him on his throne, right at the peak of the mountaintop. The news and even the critics were raving about this album. But something that never seems to be newsworthy or mentioned by critics are the tools used to create these masterpieces. And Kanye West made use of a couple of them. We've all heard of the Sonic ASR-10. We've all heard of the Akai MPC 2000 XL. But have we, ladies and gentlemen, heard of the Roland VS Series? So way back in 1996, Roland released the VS 880, the most selling ever hard disk recorder of its time, during its time. The VS 880 was following off the heels of the Fostex DMT-8, but the 880 offered you things like a SCSI port, microphone modeling, and a CD burner. You could actually burn your projects onto a CD. Couple years later, Roland released the 1480, then later the VS 1680, which was a complete digital pro workstation that sounded fantastic. Roland had everything in its bag. It's kind of like your local Uber Eats driver. You know, you're sitting at home watching all this food on the TV commercials, so you start getting hungry, your stomach starts growling. So what do? You guessed it. You order from your local Uber Eats. You walk to the door, open it, tip the driver, grab the bag with the food, and man, you can't wait to chow down. But when you look in the bag, something's actually missing. You're like, didn't I order a sandwich? So you run out of your house real quick just to catch the driver before they drive away. And you're like, hey, I think there was a sandwich in the bag. Did you see a sandwich? And driver's like, huh? No, everything in the bag you got was there. I have no idea where your sandwich is. I hope you find it. Good luck. And drives off. But in the year 2000, there was one thing that Roland did have in its bag. Something that no one was expecting. And that was with the release of the Roland VS 1880. You're getting 18 tracks of simultaneous playback, and 288 virtual tracks. You're getting 8 tracks of simultaneous recording. Wow! You're getting 8 analog inputs with 2 built-in mic preamps. You're getting 8 analog outputs. You're getting 2 sets of digital IOs, coaxial and optical. What? You're getting a built-in 24-bit effects processing, which includes reverb, delay modulation, chorus, phaser, dynamic compressor, expanders and gates, equalization, distortion, modulation, tremolo, vibrato, pitch shifting, and even auto pan. You even can get more effects processing if you install another of Roland's VS effects cards. You're getting a 2.5 gig internal hard drive, expandable to a much larger hard drive via SCSI. You're getting MIDI out, MIDI in, and even the incredibly elusive MIDI through. And ladies and gentlemen, The Roland VS 1880 comes with a 1.3-inch LCD screen for navigation and display settings. Ladies and gentlemen, when Roland finally released the Roland VS 1880, a crowd of people partied and purchased it. But some people sat on the couch. Some people did not really care about the Roland VS 1880. And it wasn't really because anything Roland did. It was because at this time, around the year 2000, this was the digital hard disk recorder's peak. And I mean peak among all brands. You had Korg that just released its Korg D16, which gave you a touchscreen. You had Yamaha, which released its AW4416, which had features such as motorized faders. You had the Akai DPS16, which gave you 24-bit 96K sonic perfection. So because of all the other competition out there, Roland might have been the new kids on the block, but they were not the leaders of the new school. No. But even though critics had some things to say about the Roland VS 1880, the Roland VS 1880 was nothing to sleep on. And its competition at the time knew it. The Korg D16 might have had a touchscreen, but the VS 1880 sound quality blows it out the park. The Akai DPS16 might have had 24-bit 96K, but the VS 1880 had multi-track outputs. The Yamaha AW4416 might have had motorized faders, but the VS 1880 had incredible multi-effects processing, and with the additional effects cards, it put the 1880 in full effect. The Roland VS 1880 was checking all the boxes, taking care of business. It's kind of like you taking care of your own landscaping. You know, you'll like drive around the neighborhood and see the different landscapers taking care of people's lawn. And you know, for a couple of months you had them taking care of your lawn. But then you said, hey, I'm sick and tired of paying these guys $40 every 2 weeks to take care of my lawn. I could do it myself. So, you know, one morning you find an old lawnmower laying around. So you grab the lawnmower and you start mowing your lawn. You mow the lawn, parts is breaking to a point mud is falling all over your face. Your wife opens the house door and is like, Danny, why don't you just call the landscapers? You're like, no, I got this. Weeks pass by, you're forgetting about your lawn to the point your wife goes outside in the front lawn and it looks like Jurassic Park. Then you just end up quitting lawn mowing altogether and you quickly call the landscapers to come clean this mess. Now, the things that irked some people about the Roland VS 1880 was stuff like if you wanted to burn to a CD, it would probably be kind of challenging finding compatible CDs due to Roland specific specs. So you can't just use any old CD burner. You have to use one that goes with Roland specs. Some people didn't like the fact that the 1880 didn't have the biggest visual display. You know, the screen wasn't that big. The later versions allowed you to hook it up via VGA to an external monitor, but on the 1880, you kind of had to deal with what you had. Some folks didn't like, even though it was a 24-track recorder, you could only record 8 tracks simultaneously. So yeah, the Roland VS 1880 might have had some limitations, but still, the charm of this unit was that it gave you the basics of everything you needed to create incredible music production. So when the Roland VS 1880 came out, it was about $2,800, which, yeah, could drain your wallet, but you were getting so much for your money at the time. The Roland VS 1880 came with a built-in drum machine. There was actually a drum machine built in this thing so that you can lay your songs over. If you had melodies, put them over the drums. The VS 1880 came with DVAC processing, which was this kind of compression, kind of like processing that just made the sound of the unit just sound warm and smooth. A lot of famous producers used the Roland VS 1880. The great legendary producer MF Doom used the Roland VS 1880 on a lot of his productions. We all know Ye used it, but not only Ye, DJ Shadow used the Roland VS 1880s on his influential album Introduction. The late great Jay Dilla was known for using the VS 1880 on some of his works. And even Dr. Dre, yes, Dr. Dre from the famous world-class Wrecking Crew, used the Roland VS 1880. So yeah, folks, that's the Roland VS 1880. What had happened was... So this is your boy DyReck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. And I'm signing off.